Hi there, it's me, Linda, again. Trying to adjust my video here on my phone so that you can see properly. Today I am making healthy banana oatmeal pancakes and I want to bring you along. I will provide the recipe in the description area of the video. And please subscribe. So we're starting off with 2 ripe bananas. I have so many of these in the freezer, you can't imagine. That's another hint if you don't do this. You just take your banana like this, pop it in the freezer, and you're good to go for whenever you want to work with them. This recipe is both gluten and dairy-free. Well, it's almost dairy-free because I'm going to use kefir in it, but you can use whatever milk you like. I usually have soy milk in my refrigerator because I have to eat dairy-free and gluten-free. Try doing that. There's not a lot of restaurants around that can accommodate you in that respect. And the recipe also says that you can do it all in the blender, and you can, I'm sure you can, but I do not have an expensive blender. I just bought a very inexpensive one at Walmart because I rarely use one. But you can just throw all these ingredients in the blender and off you go. So here I am with 2 bananas. I'm mashing up 2 bananas. You know, I'm not too particular about it. And I don't care if there's a few lumps in them. Doesn't matter to me. And then after that, I'm going to add eggs. And I'm only making a half a recipe. And the reason I'm doing that is because I get fed up of eating the same thing all the time. And it makes quite a few pancakes depending on how large you like your pancake. But they are delicious. So here we are now with our 2 eggs. Beating that up. And next, I'm going to add in some vanilla. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And a lid is about a teaspoon. So that's the way I do it. I'm sure you could add more or less, depending on what you like. And also, baking powder. It just so happens that I have Trader Joe's baking powder, but any form of baking powder will do. And if you are gluten-free, if you're a celiac rather, where gluten can be deathly and make you deathly ill, there is baking powder that you can purchase that states right on it that it's gluten-free. I don't know if it's made any differently than the way than the one I have. Anyway, the baking powder is 2 teaspoons. 1 and 2. So there's that. Let's get that all mixed up. And then oats. Take your oats, put them in the blender, and blend them to a fine powder. And here we are with, how much oats am I talking about? 1.5 cups of oats for a half the recipe. So I'm gonna add that. And this, obviously we need more liquid in this, and this is where it gets a little tricky from my perspective anyway, because you know what your pancake batter should look like. It should be thick, but not so thick that you can't pour it. So if I'm using milk, like soy milk, for example, I would use the correct amount, which in this case is, where the heck is it? A half a cup. But I may or may not need to use more of the kefir. Why are you using kefir, Linda? I'm using it because it's got a lot of probiotics, and it has very little carbs, and it's healthy. So let's make it as healthy as possible. So here I'm going to pour out about a half a cup right now. And let's see what this does. I may need to add more. Although it is starting to look like more of a pancake recipe. This might be a bit thick yet. Hard to know. And at this point, you could add blueberries or other fruit, or even chocolate chips if you wanted. And surprisingly, even though I should be eating dairy-free, because it really does bother my stomach, the kefir, for whatever reason, I'm able to tolerate it. And let's face it, there's not all that much kefir in. See, it says lactose intolerance friendly on it. So, I don't know, it works. I'm just adding a bit more, eyeballing it. This is looking better, a little bit more liquidy. So right now, I am going to move over to the stove and start putting these on the griddle. Yeah, I get fed up, as I said, of eating the same thing. Right now, I'm also pre-diabetic. You know, at 78, I guess you find things wrong with yourself. And I'm very fortunate that those are the only things that I have to worry about, is eating dairy, gluten, and also watching my carbs for pre-diabetic. I don't want to step over that line where I become diabetic. So these are really good, and I'll be back when I get in front of my stove. Don't go away. I'm back, and I have some oil in the bottom of my pan. I'm not sure if you can see this very well. So what I'm about to do now is just take, and this depends, you know, on how large you want to make your pancakes. In the past, I've made them really big and regretted it. So the oil has been heating for a couple of minutes. I have it on a medium heat at the moment. So let's see how that does. This is the oil. I just happen again to have Trader Joe's because I was there the other day. But typically I have other, and it doesn't really matter. Whatever your choice, it doesn't really matter. So now we'll just let these cook until I see them bubbling a bit on top. And then I'll move it onto a plate. And what I do is I put them on a pan like a cookie sheet and put them into the freezer and flash freeze them. Once they're frozen, I can take them out, put them in a bag, and then just take out as many as I want and pop them in the microwave. And they're really good. So I'm not going to bore you by having you watch me fry pancakes. I'll be right back. I'm back again. And these smell so good. They look good too, don't they? I'd say they're about maybe 4 or 5 inches in diameter. I'm not really sure. Some may be a little bit smaller. So now what I'm gonna do, you adjust here, is I am going to take these and put them on my cookie sheet. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it made 12. How about that? So all I have to do now is take this, put them in the freezer, and then I'll put them in bags when they're frozen, and I'll be able to have one. Usually I only have one with fruit. I use strawberries and blueberries. They're in season over here. But you could just use, you know, yogurt or cottage cheese or maple syrup, whatever you like. And so thank you for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe. I'll be back with more recipes and just more other things that I find myself getting into, which hopefully you'll find interesting. Bye for now.